What's up, guys? Josh Buckhalter reporting from Hallis Hall for Clocker Sports, where the Bears just went through their second practice of Week 11 before their road game against the Minnesota Vikings. Got a chance to hear from all three coordinators today: Richard Hightower, Dennis Allen, and Declan Doyle. All three had a lot of praise for the Vikings and what they have, both talent-wise and coaching-wise, schematically. Hightower had a lot of high praise for return man Myles Price. Dennis Allen talked a lot about the versatility of the offense, the weaponry that Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Vikings, has at his disposal. Talked about their receiving core, obviously, and then Declan Doyle talked about just the a way that Brian Flores, defensive coordinator for the Vikings, switches up his coverage, his schemes, how they attack, how often they want to blitz, and things of that nature. So a lot of consistency with that regard from what Ben Johnson told us yesterday. They have a lot of, like I said, a lot of respect for this group that shocked them in Week 1 with that 21-point fourth quarter to come back and get that victory to open the season on a sour note for the Bears. So be very aware that they are aware, acutely aware of how that game turned out and how they want to kind of mitigate that same thing happening this time around. On the practice field, a very eventful day. As we talked about yesterday, that first injury report ended up being a bit of a smoke signal, or a smoke screen rather. A lot of the guys returned to practice today. The only two that did not, TJ Edwards, linebacker, and safety Jaquan Brisker, not the only two rather, but the two most notable. Joe Thuney also did not return, but he is a non-injury related rest day, and then Jahdae Walker is still in concussion protocol. But the two, like I talked about, Edwards and Brisker, Edwards is dealing with a hand injury and also a hamstring. The hamstring, I think, is the one that's keeping him off the field. The hand he had surgery on it, but that is, according to Johnson, not supposed to impact him that negatively. So I would imagine it's a hamstring that's keeping him off. This is his second soft tissue injury this season, so I'm sure the Bears are trying to take the precautious approach with him and putting him back on the field. Brisker, again, the back injury flared up on him last week in the win over the New York Giants. He suffered that in the tackle in the end zone, kind of threw his helmet in frustration. We have seen him around the locker room. He seems to be in good spirits, but that's not really an indication of how he can play football. So we'll wait to see what the final injury report says later this week. But the good news is Rome Odunze, DJ Moore both return. The Bears, like I said, had a pretty positive day in that regard. One more practice session for those guys to get back on the field who did not practice today. In the locker room, we got a chance to hear from Rome, from DJ, talk to Tyreek Stevenson and Kevin Byard. I'll have that video up on the YouTube channel this evening, and then we'll have an article up on ClockerSports.com. One more practice, we'll be back for it. Josh Buckhalter, Clocker Sports, in Hallis Hall.